afternoon, chat. I hope you are all well. We are here today. Oh, you know what? This is all very loud. Sorry, bit interrupted. Yeah, I can hear it's too loud in my ear. Okay, well, we're doing it manually. Game very loud. Game loud for me. There we go. Oh. So this is a full... It was pitched to me when I was sent a key. Being a point-and-click pixel folk horror game. I don't know. We're simply going to give it a try. And see what it is. See what we can get out of such an experience. I hope this is... Oh, this is sweet. This is sweet, but you know what it's not? Of any settings. Any sound settings. But it's still very nice. It's nice to have the credits up front like this. What I've seen of the art is that it's got a lot of just truly insanely incredible pixel art. I believe the game is going to be very much in line with Hobbs Barrow. What was that one? You know what a game I'm talking about? Okay, the game was being so good and not pausing earlier, but now it is pausing a lot. Not that Hobbs. Excavation of Hobbs Barrow. I think it's going to be very in line with that. So, some kind of distant pixel figures, but then some highly, highly intensely drawn. Yeah, Piss Cat Adventures, exactly. Some highly, highly, highly drawn, the water was brackish, cold as the grave, close-up pixels. This one, I think, does not have voiceover, which is a real shame for me. It's actually why I have brewed a full pot of tea. And I've got a beautiful little tea kettle. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna be speaking a lot. Yeah, it's a big cup. This is handmade by a local artist. A local pottery artist. It has a beautiful, like, shimmery white inside that's hard to tell. I got it because my teapot... Oh, boy. Why did I do this? Boop. My teapot, big and brown, and so I wanted something similarly earthy. The tea check is... a very rich, beautiful... I got it in... There's a great tea shop in Seattle in the I District called, I think, New Century Tea. And the guy who runs it... I've gone in a couple of times and talked to him a little bit. The guy who runs it, his family owns a tea plantation in China. And they ship him tea and he will smoke it basically in shop. And it's an incredible experience. If you've never been, I cannot recommend it enough. You should go and you should buy a bunch of tea from them. They've got, I think it's called New Century. It's in Seattle. It's in the I District. Honestly, it might be New Century Tea. I can't say that it's not for sure. New Century Tea Gallery. Let me share a link. Let me share. It says copy to clipboard. Here's the place. Anyway, so I got a bag of the tea that his family grows, that he smokes there. And it is called Ying Hong number 9 black tea. It is gorgeous. The tea is so beautiful. It's got such... I already had a pot of this, so I'm pushing myself into a precarious caffeinated state. But it's so rich. It's got such complexity. Oh, people smoke tea quite a lot, to varying degrees. There are like smoked teas that are like smoked, but then there are other smoked teas that are just like processed. Like that's just the way that they process. And this has been like dried and lightly roasted, I guess is a better way of saying it. But it's gorgeous. It is, I think, on par with like the best coffee beans in terms of like complexity and depth of flavor. I can't always drink it. It's not quite as intense as like a pu'er, which is really a very much a sometimes tea for me. But it is like sort of on that end of the scale where it's like the layering of flavors and the complexity of, for lack of a better word, the tea broth. Oh, Chad, it's beautiful. There was nothing in the distance, no visual marker to give me any idea of the scale of the gentle waves that surrounded me. What will you eat? Who's there? What will you eat? Show yourself. What will you eat? The dream was gone as quickly as it had come. The lagoon slid past, its swirling waters no doubt influencing my sleep. My destination, Venice, lay ahead. The lights of the city twinkled like pearl, a tiara nestled over black velvet. It was a strange and unique city, as everyone knew, but laid out as it was against the oppressive clouds, it reminded me less of a metropolis and more of a gargantuan creature surfacing from the depths, casting about itself with a multitude of tiny, glittering eyes. Charlotte's letter still lay in my lap. I do not wish to hurt you, but I must look to the future rather than the past. The world is changing, and the spirit of it embraced me. No more. No more today. Ooh, strawberry white tea sounds lovely. There truly nothing... No tea in my mind is better than a black tea that is like... It's unmixed. It is just like the pure... The pure, beautifully processed simplicity of a really, really good tea leaf that hasn't had a bunch of additives and stuff put into it. I like the additives too. Don't get me wrong. I love a mango black tea. I like a fruity black tea. I like a Earl Grey. Love Earl Grey. Earl Grey, top 5 teas, IMO. Or like a lavender Earl Grey. Oh, yeah. But there's simply no beating just like a good tea. Just a simply good tea. The platform was relatively quiet. It would have no doubt been different if the famous Venetian Carnival hadn't been banned by Mussolini. Uh-oh. Timestamp. When he had consolidated power. It traditionally starts in February, ending on Shrove Tuesday. Even though the tradition had already been dealt a blow when the Austrian king outlawed the celebration in masses in 1797, it has still been there below the surface, bubbling up within the 19th century in private engagements and artistic communes, and apparently been a fascinating glimpse into the Middle Ages and Baroque Renaissance. Now, Venetian masks were simply decoration, a historical curiosity. There were still celebrations of a sort within Italy, but they had a sour edge to them, such as the distinctly anti-Slavic Festa della Tre Marie, which had become a little more than a mishmash of an ancient tradition and current political thinking, all seen through the skewed lens of Mussolini's National Fascist Party. All very interesting, but for me, there's a different story to write. Ooh, we a journalist? Love playing a journalist. First things first, I needed to call my contact, then I could get to work. Ooh, okay, we got inventory. I love this mouse icon. Which doesn't look like my mouse. Sexalia, no, please. Click on the book or press escape for options. Okay, notebook tracks your objectives. This list gives you information about your contacts. When the watch symbol appears on the map, the main goals for the day are completed. There may be optional goals. Click the watch to advance to the next day. Alright. This is just an example, I guess. I can't actually click anything. Spooky. Alright. Save? Please enter the name for save game. I wasn't about to start talking to myself. I like this little grabby hand it does. Sorta... There we go. Okay. Clump of wet papers. Document has been stuck together somehow as if they had gotten wet. How had this happened? Drooling in your sleep. Going to Carnival in Rio next year. Oh, I think that's going to be incredible. That is on my list. It looks like an incredible spectacle of a time. I also just really want to go to Rio. I needed to pull the papers apart carefully with something sharp. I didn't want any of them damaged. Oh? I arrived in Venice just after 4. Thick fog greeted me. Okay. Call contact with station phone. Get some rest. Where can I find the rest of my contacts? No. Okay, so I guess that's for inventory. Thought it said I had a sheet of contacts. I'm gonna talk this hungry worker, obviously. See if I can't get that knife from him. Picked up the discarded flyer. Yeah, let me see it. Flyer of Mussolini. On the back was written a quote, Menare buono tutta la vita, questa della misura della vera grandosa di un'anima. In English, remaining good all your life, that is the true measure of the measure of the true quality of the soul. Pass. Pass kind of seems like an artificial standard. I'm new to the city. Do you have any sightseeing recommendations? Are you on your break? Hey, let's chat him up first. What do you recommend I see? You should visit the Piazza San Marco, the true heart of Venice. But to be honest, the whole city is beautiful. Even I can appreciate it. He spat on the ground and wiped his nose on his sleeve. I tried to hide my disgust. Thank you. I appreciate the advice. Can I borrow your knife? As long as you take the blade to the station master, I can't stand his attitude. As long as you stab a man with it? I can't. Relax, signore. I'm joking. I'll stab him myself later. Ha 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 ha. Cool. I took the knife carefully. Are you on your break? Yeah? Is that a crime? Okay. I assume I'm supposed to use this, tease the papers apart, and thankfully they are undamaged. Ah, the last letter, train ticket, list of contacts. We didn't steal his knife, he gave us the knife. We're gonna see if I can give it back. I'm pretty excited to see, because they did go to Venice. Not last year, the year before. I'm thrilled to see it depicted in pixel. A pixel depiction, as they say. Alright. Arduino Notaro. I think the host is who I'm trying to get to. Contact information by my contact Barnaby Dawson in Rome. God, they don't name people like Barnaby Dawson anymore, huh? Luckily, my accommodations would be paid for by the Illustrated London News, as the editor wanted a local insight to add flavor to the story. I knew very little about him, as it stood, but Dawson told me that the man had professed to have an encyclopedic knowledge of Venice. Time to put that to a test. Don Vincenzo Conti was a Catholic priest who had agreed to speak to me during my visit. He had suggested members meeting at the Piazza del Marco. Okay. Written several books on the history of the Venetian Republic, and would be interesting to gain his insight as to the impact of the proposed road bridge, given its place in the community. I've known Indio since my residency at the Rosetta Gallery in Florence. I've been relatively successful as an artist, but it become increasingly difficult to stand out, so I had moved to journalism. Wow, what a life. I got tired of being an artist, so I just became a journalist. I just did that. Using my grasp of Italian to gain my role as the Illustrated London Times Italian correspondent, an interesting and well-paid position. Wow, you can tell this is a fantasy game. He got a job at a London newspaper as the Italian correspondent and is getting well paid for it. A different time. Indio had also been an artist, wildly successful in his time, but had abruptly ceased to paint a few years ago, and he became engrossed in history of Venice following a visit, before finally moving to a city on the lagoon to find himself. Hey, Emmett! I had no idea if he was still living here, but I had his last address and desire to see an old friend. Hopefully, that would be enough. Ah, okay, so that's February 15th. I'm meeting with the Don the February 14th. Back when you could have a career in journalism. Oh. Dante Dessina was a dilettante who lived in the famous Grassi Palace and frequently flashed his money around the Oriental Club in London. Thankfully, he had agreed to an interview for the Illustrated London News, although only after speaking to the editor personally. He was also reported to be an upcoming force within the Italian Fascist Party. I wonder how the relentless push for progress would fit with the world viewed of the landed gentry. I'm invited to visit him on the 15th. Okay. So I've got... We need to find the host. What day is it? You there. Dock worker. What day is it? Okay. Traveled from Milan to Venice. The last letter I ever received from Charlotte. Conigo, thank you for the resubscribe. My dearest James, it is with the deepest pain that I must end our engagement. I do not wish to hurt you, but I must look to the future rather than the past. The world is changing and the spirit of it has embraced me. Oh no, has Charlotte gone fashy? I longed for you to seize the day to embrace adventure, but when did we ever travel away from the familiarity of London? Would it have been so hard to see more of the world? You always spoke of your love of Italy, and yet you've never offered to take me. I never met the man who made his own way in Florence, or who managed to flee the abusive household that had held him since childhood. I truly hope you can find yourself again, but it cannot be with me. Be kind to yourself. All my love, Charlotte. Hey, do you want this knife back? I don't think I can give it to him. Okay. Train. Let's talk to the station master. Excuse me, signore? Can I leave? What? Station seems quiet today. Signore, you have now cursed it. I'll probably have 100 tourists to process on the next express. The man made a cross over his chest. It seems a very trivial thing to bother God with. Here's my ticket. Ah, very good, sir. Please enjoy your time in Venice. Thank you, I will. Bye. Oh, can I talk to the two gentlemen? Yeah, trial by agent, I'm getting there. Please just let me play the game. I called the telephone number for the man I was going to be staying with, gave him to me by the office in London. There's no answer. I slammed the phone onto its receiver and ground my teeth. Perhaps the man had already set off and was simply running late. Or perhaps this contact was another charlatan. At least a fool in Rome had shown up. I decided to exit the station and take in some sights while I was waiting. I guess these are the two gentlemen of Verona. There's no need to disturb them. Okay, let's get out of here. I had no further need of the knife, so I gave it back to its owner. Good. Thank you, signore. Enjoy Venice. Should I have tried to use the knife on the station master? What if there's a secret ending where you just murder immediately? Alright, exit to city. Is there more to see of the station, do we think? Or is this just going to take me immediately back? I don't need to go back to the station yet. Okay. Oh, yes! Yes, Signore, in the Buddha mask. There was no need to rip it off even more. Oh. It's the remains of a torn poster proclaiming, "Remember the Biennio Rosso." It's a reference to the Red Biennium, a 2-year period of labor militancy in 1919 to 20 in Italy, when workers buoyed by communist ideals took part in strikes, rural uprising, and factory occupations. Yeah, I'll remember that. Oh, it's a mannequin. Yes! This is my... okay. It's one of my all-time favorite of the Venetian masks / outfit styles. Hold on. I'll grab a postcard. Hold on. I got a bunch of postcards when I was in Venice of classic mask styles, and this is one of them because I love it so much. Here you can see we got our classic like plague mask guy, and then La Buta. All of the Venetian outfits are so cool, obviously. But there's something about like the stark blackness with the little hint of the little white schoolgirl socks. And like the beautiful like Venetian lace shawl. Primo. Best use of a tri-corner hat possible. All of the Venetian outfits are obviously incredible, but primo. Love the Bauta. Mannequin was huge, around 6.5 feet tall. The mask was imposing. The eyes were inky caverns. Was the mannequin covered in black cloth? Signore? Signore Maynard? The man spoke to me in English. His voice was a cracked baritone. His face glowed in the light from the shop front. Yes, see, this is the shit I'm talking about. This is this good piss cat close-up. A good journey? Indeed, although the train arrived late, 10 minutes. Is that so? I expect it was only you that noticed. I would hope not. You must be Signore Notaro. It's a pleasure to meet you. Likewise, Signore. Please, call me Arduino. Come to my house. Come, my house is not far. You do not even have to cross the Grand Canal. Well, I say my house as if I'm the owner, but there are others there. It is an apartment. It is an apartamento, you know? God, what's the English word for that? He seems to possess a nervous energy that stood on the edge between excitement and panic. The streets seem quiet. Yes, but the edges are always quieter. The heart beats loudest in the center, yes? I suppose. This mask is curious, very distinctive. Ah, yes, the Bauta, the oldest of the Venetian masks. From last century? Ha! Try the 13th century, Signor Maynard. La Bauta proper is actually the hood. Ah, the mask itself is simply called the face. Cool. Fascinating. Come, there will be time enough to browse the mask shops tomorrow. Let's head back before it gets dark. The fog really carries a chill. It is February. What do you expect, my friend? Come, we will soon wrap you up with some Venetian hospitality. Maybe I can pour you a spritz as we sit near the fire? Perhaps. I must admit I am exhausted. I may have an early night. Your choice, of course. Strange not to hear any cars. There's only the rail bridge, Signora Maynard, the bridge and the boats, the gondola, you know. It allows us to hear the waters. I must admit it makes a welcome change to London. Venice is its own beast, Signora Maynard. You will not find anywhere quite like it in the world. That's probably true. Excellent! Onwards. It is here, the red door, Signor Maynard. The 4-story set of apartments was precariously leaning to the right to the extent that it was almost touching the next building. And your apartment is on the ground floor, Mr. Maynard. No need to worry. In any case, the leaning of the building is not so noticeable inside, I assure you. The magic of Venice. My head swam as I looked up at the teetering building. Arduino looked me in the eyes. I think you need a rest, my friend. Yes. Yes. The room was warm enough, well insulated from the cold. I felt my eyes drift again, the eyelids closing ever slower. I needed to rest. Free candle? Could see well enough without the candle? Fine. I don't need anything out of here at the moment. Oh. Ooh. Hell yeah. Free dustpan. Chat. Free dustpan. The drawer was filled with knickknacks and also a small matchbook. Hell yeah, matches. I decided to take the matches. They could be useful. Oh, they're gonna be. No need for a vase at the moment. That implies that there will be a need for a vase in the future. No need to take the painting off the wall. What about this painting? I was no art thief. No need to open the window. Don't want to let the chill in. All right, time to sleep. I needed to rest, but only for a moment. The chair would be better. Wow, this guy's fussy. Good amount left. Old metal dustpan. On this wooden chair, my man? Perhaps all I needed was a sit down. Maybe then. It do be like that sometimes, though, am I right? I woke in an unfamiliar room. This didn't alarm me. My condition often led to a difficulty with short-term memory after a moment. I just needed to orient myself. I really thought... I really thought that was a... like when you sit down to take a 10-minute break, but then you pass out and suddenly it's 9 hours later. But I think this is an actual thing that is happening with this man. I found a note in my pocket. Yes, I think I was headed to Venice. There was a story. But who was I here to meet? I couldn't see in the gloom. I needed some light. Whoa, hello, Giant Bomb. Hello, Raiders. Aw, shit. I forgot to switch up the forgot to switch up the chat settings. What were the settings? It was you had to be I think you have to be former GB panel host. Rich Paddock Games. Thank you. Okay, what was the setting? I had a setting. That's not it. Oh, I accidentally ran it. Fuck. I think I accidentally ran an ad. Shit. That's chat only. Subscriber only mode. This is so funny. I just a bunch of people came in and I was like, let me slam the button for an ad. Fuck. Is there a welcome? There we go. There's the welcome tag. So good. It's because I got Brian, BDG rated me yesterday. Not yesterday, Tuesday. And I was like, oh shit, I don't have the settings up to be a welcoming stream place. A welcoming raider place. And I was like, I will definitely fix that. I'll definitely fix that before I get raided again. But here we are. Not only did I... That's so funny. Okay. Chatter permission. Followers only mode. I found it. Okay. Followers only mode. There we go. All right. So now it's still followers only mode, but it's 0 minutes followers only. Another great stream. No issues. We just started. If you can hear me again, tell me when you can hear me again. With the candle lit, I could now see the note in my pocket. We're back from ads. So sorry about that. In my panic to change follower mode, I had followers only can chat. Only followers can chat in chat, and I had it for you had to be a follower for 10 minutes, but I keep getting raided and I feel like rude. I can update that if I need to, but I switched it to you have to be a follower for any amount of time, so people can, if they follow immediately, can chat instead of having to wait 10 minutes. But then in my panic to do that, I hit play an ad. So if you stuck through the ad, Thank you. Hello. Welcome. So funny. God damn. We're playing Carnival. This is a folk horror point-and-click game set in Venice during Mussolini's reign. And we've only just started, so... we just took a little nap, but our character seems to have... If you're a subscriber, I don't think you see the ad, but I'm not 100% certain. I basically never run ads like that. I think everybody here sees ads enough in their day-to-day life. And if I would rather people just like subscribe than be subjected to extra ads. So in general, I have the ads set to like the lowest level, the least frequency. So apologies if you see a lot of ads. It's not always in my control. Yes, Fnord, stuff is complicated these days, and even I don't have a good answer to that. A game would help, it always did. The mental exercise would drag my memories back into focus. The name was Italian, but what was the name's origin? Primary contact in Venice. Oh, his name was Arduino. What was it? Notary? Notaro? Arduino? Notaro. And what did the name mean in Italian? Yeah, it's notary. What? That's crazy. Rich Bad at Game says Mike Minodes from Giant Bomb's grandfather fought under Mussolini. A real full circle movement. Yeah, what were you all doing over in Giant Bomb's stream? Couldn't have been doing Borderlands 4 yet, because I was going to stream Borderlands 4, but the embargo isn't up until 2 p.m. Central Time. I was like, well, that is when my stream ends. Yes, of course, notary, notaro were both from the classic Latin root notarius, from nota, meaning mark or sign. I felt my memories seeping back. Yes, I had met Arduino. This was his house, a quaint apartment in the outer edge of Venice. I would have a busy day tomorrow. I needed to get some sleep. It seemed that was all I did recently. Uh-oh, this man is unwell. Checking out Hell Is Us. That game seems cool in how it doesn't give you any direction. Did that one also just come out? Is Borderlands 4 supposed to be good? I haven't read any reviews of it yet, so I'm not totally certain. I will say it's already getting... People on Steam are already... Even though I think a lot of them... a lot of them have like half an hour played, and they are already voting it great or bad, so we'll just see how it goes. I played a lot of Borderlands 3. That was one of the like group games that my friends and I played, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. It's a divisive game series, but I find that I think there are complaints to be made from it, but I think most of the complaints people make about it are just real obnoxious gamer shit. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to playing it. When it's finally released, which is not for another hour and a half. Yes, as good as can be expected. I'm sorry, your meaning? Was the bed not good? Oh, the bed was quite comfortable. I have a condition, narcolepsy. I'm sorry, I do not know this. A sleeping condition. You might find I drift off when we're talking from time to time. Drift? Like water? No, I may lose concentration. Please, just say my name and I should come back. As you wish. You can speak in Italian if you wish. I can understand most words. Nonsense! I welcome a chance to speak English again. It's good to stretch the mind. You like cream in the coffee? I'm sorry, I couldn't get any English tea. No cream, thank you. To tell you the truth, I've never been a fan of tea. Wow, rude! That was a white lie, but I was hoping that I could find a way to relax the man. His hand shook as he poured the coffee, and the smile he was wearing seemed more of a rictus than actual contentedness. Quite a selection of food. Is this normal Venetian fare? I found myself arranging the cutlery into lines as I did at home. I slid my hand back onto my leg to try and halt that action. As always infuriated Charlotte, along with many of my other habits, plucking wayward hairs and eyelashes, checking the time at regular intervals, fastidious neatness, and a criticism of her that came with it. Damn. She had tolerated it all to an extent, but nothing lasted forever. is probably more extravagant than most, but food is my passion. I like to try new things, change my routine. Some of these meats are imported, salted in Bavaria. There's a man who lives on the top floor, a retired military man from the, Schwarzland, the Black Forest, yes. It looks excellent. Won't you try some? I'm never especially hungry in the morning. Ah, I see. He sighed, looking in the middle distance for a moment before taking a deep breath and turning his attention back to me. So let us talk about Venice. You're here because of the new road, see? I must say, it will be hard to spend a lot of time with the people over the next few days. It's a busy time. I explained as much to the man, Signor Dawson. He insisted, though, so here you are. Here I am. Ha! Arduino didn't return the gesture, instead looking me in the eyes. You don't have to stay, you know. Part of the smile still lingered, though it was visibly crackling. I hope this is not an inconvenience. No, of course not. You're welcome for as long as you wish to remain. I am getting the Wicker Man vibes. Excellent. I was wondering if I could start my story with interviewing you. Shall we get the ball rolling? Ball? Sorry, it's a British saying. It simply means getting started. Ah, not heard of this. Of course, my friend, ask your questions. Very well. Have you lived in Venice all your life? From first breath, signor. You won't find a more devoted Venetian in the city. I see. And has the city changed much in your time here? Changed in what way? Well, the most obvious example would be the regime change. Mussolini is, in some people's eyes, quite the forward thinker. Others call him a despot. Surely the change in government has been felt here. Venice will always be Venice. I cannot speak for the rest of Italy, but there are certain things about Venice that will never change. Such as the water. Venetians are born above the waves. It's in our blood. We also value life. We celebrate. We know how to enjoy. These things are important, no matter what Il Duce may say. How does Venice compare in your eyes to the rest of Italy? I don't know. I've never left. You've never left the Veneto region or Venice? I have never left the lagoon. What a life! Interesting. Why is that? The man smiled widely. Why would I? What is out there that isn't here? Italy is a wonderful country. Surely it's a privilege to live in such a vibrant place. I'm privileged to be Venetian, not Italian. The man pursed his lips tightly. You clearly have pride in your heritage. Just so. I do think that is like a real thing. I do think some Venetians consider themselves Venetians to a certain extent, and not always like Italians. Because Venice was like one of the longest lasting republics, like democratic republics, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I believe it outdates Italy in general. Yeah, it's very regional, that's fair. What we consider Italy is still pretty sparsed out and regional. What is your reaction to the road bridge that will be completed next year, linking Venice to Mestre? What is your reaction? Okay. I do not like the idea. He sniffed. Getting detailed answer out of the man was difficult. Why is that? Because change is not necessary. But surely the economic benefits are a strong argument for the road bridge being the future of the city. Mr. Maynard, please don't take my words in the wrong manner. Italy is very regional. Yeah, that's, I think, one of the interesting, nice things about Italy. I mean, I guess you could say the same about America, though. Not only like the fact that we're broken up into states, which are pretty kind of their own little countries, but also like we're regional. It's just that the regions are fucking massive. I'm no fool. I can see the reasoning for roads and money. I'm sure that some of the younger Venetians would appreciate the idea, but I simply do not want the change. That is as simple as I can state it. If you dilute a fine wine with water, it becomes lost. Sometimes being contained is a blessing. Mussolini can go to hell. Alright, well, this guy is saying some stuff I like. A risky sentiment in these times, but perhaps Arduino was too old to care. Arduino leaned back in his seat and sighed, suddenly becoming a lot older than he had before. His final words had provided an obvious end to the conversation and an end to the questions. Eventually, the Venetian reached for his breakfast again and began to eat listlessly, carrying a shadow of his former energy. I could hear the man's teeth as they bit their way through fruit and bread. The silence soon became too much for me. This man, the German, you said, lives on the top floor. Si, Senor Weber, Siegfried Weber. You wish to speak with him? Yes, I'm here to get opinions of Venetians, but I'd be interested in seeing an outsider's view also. It would provide an interesting contrast to the piece. As you wish, I'm sure he will welcome a guest. Thank you. And of course, I wish to hear your own views again, perhaps on another day. I'm sure the paper chose wisely when they contacted you. They did. I know everything about Venice. Thank you. You're welcome, my friend. I hope you have a good day. My host used his fork to push a large piece of bacon into his waiting mouth. His teeth bore down. Incredible. Wow, I loved that. That was insane, but I loved that. Arduino said that Herr Weber lived on the top floor. It was early, but perhaps he would be up. It was worth a try. And then truly just an insane close-up. Ah! I knew the camera was gonna run out. I was pretty certain, but I couldn't remember for sure. Another perfect stream. No technical issues or bad clicks at all. Okay. Oh man, that would be really funny, Trollabye Agent. Increasingly Dutch to angles. No answer. Ooh, roses. Oh, hell yeah, free rose. Do I still have the, Good, okay. Still have the matches. It's important. No answer. I was hoping that this little box would get increasingly skewed, because especially in pixel format, that would be so noticeable. It seems that Weber was too engrossed in his music to hear the door. Perhaps it would take something even louder than his piano to shake him from his reverie. What? Yeah, I'm gonna... Okay. I need something louder than a piano? That's our... I love point-and-click adventure games. What an insane prompt. There's a lot of candles around. Part of me is like, should I be lighting all these candles? That another very adventure game thing to do. Not Adventure Time. Of course, I just need to grab the trumpet that I packed. Oh good, this does the thing where you can double click. Already spoken to Arduino. Ooh. Great, okay, we got a cane. Well used but sturdy. I'm hoping I can rap on the door. I don't want to damage the varnish on the door. Perhaps there was something else I could hit the walking stick to make enough noise. The dustpan? Love it. Ein Moment bitte. I heard the scrape of a chair and then... Weber was a tall man with a neatly sculpted mustache long ago given over to gray, beneath relaxed but sharply twinkling eyes. He was wearing a simple white shirt over gray trousers held up with suspenders, carefully polished shoes. The sky outside was choked with clouds, but a white glare of the sunlight was able to force its way through, bleeding the color from the surroundings. Can I help you? He was speaking in English with a thick German accent. Not gonna do that. From a region I couldn't place, but then I was no expert on Germany. I hope so. I'm looking for an opinion on... I'm sorry, let me introduce myself. My name is James Maynard, journalist. Writing a story on Venice, I was wondering if you'd be able to or would like to answer a few questions about your view on the city and the proposed road. A newspaper? Yes, the Illustrated London News. It's quite prestigious. I have not heard of it. His features were inscrutable. I tried to break the ice. You're a military man, yes? Huh, Why do you say that? Your bearing, those shoes, polished to a brilliant shine. You're a clever man. Yes, I was a soldier when I was young, and I volunteered in Der Weltkrieg. I was a staff officer in the 1st Infantry Regiment of Baden. Perhaps I fought against you on the Western Front, eh? No, not at all. I was still a child then. Of course, of course. That piano must have been difficult to get up all those stairs. Yes, I hired some help, of course. Please don't touch. I can't stand fingerprints. How long have you been playing? Longer than I was in the military. Perhaps I will let you see which of my skills is strongest, yeah? A threat? Was that a threat? That felt like a threat. Right? Am I wrong? You simply use my Grimbaldo voice. That's one of the harder voices for me to summon on command. Not like Astra's voice, which I have to actively suppress in my day-to-day life. What? I mean, I will play you something. Perhaps my meaning was not plain. Ugh, I'm too old to be picking fights. But anyway, I'm sure you're not here to listen to me play Die Zauberflöte. What do you want to know? Well, I want to know the thing I asked you, old man. I'm aware of the building work, but I have no idea when it would be finished. I don't read the papers. I prefer military history. Is the railway not enough? Some would say so. I was told before I set out that within the city that some within the city even see the rails as being too much. They wish for a return to the past. Venice for the Venetians, that sort of thing. He nodded, but I couldn't be sure if it was a sign of agreement or simply an acknowledgement of the fact. If I might ask, how do you see the city? Why did you decide to move here? Was its history a factor? History is always a factor. The past is, what's the word? Paramount. I agree. Details are everything. Without the past, how can we know where we truly are? Precisely. What was it about Venice that drew you to it? Well, it's beautiful. Any fool can see that. Beautiful and alive. I don't think you do see. Come, join me on the balcony. Tell me what the city looks like to you, and we'll see if you understand. Very well. I was hoping it would be really leaning. The vista that greeted me was the first real view I'd seen of the city, except for in photographs. Houses and shops seemed to run together, red-tiled roofs and crammed alleyways bisecting each other at seemingly random junctures, and the minuscule shapes of the city's inhabitants scurrying throughout the structure like termites. It was a tangled labyrinth of pale brick buildings and green-tinted waters. I see houses, streets, shops, and people. It looks disorderly. Wonderful, but disorderly nonetheless. It is so much more. It is a forest, Maynard. What do you think of forests as disorderly? I'm sorry? Yeah, the forest, the same as the one that covers Baden. It is not disorder, you see, but a plan of nature. You cannot judge this city such as this by normal standards. It is unique, built on shifting mud and water. The houses grew. The pathways crawl with shadows and life. There's a creature in every hollow and reasons within every wall. But houses are built, they don't grow. The difference is semantics only. Trees grow towards light, their bodies, mass increase with a clear direction, correct? True, but there's no human decision there. Humanity is not relevant. The separation you see between a forest and Venice is the difference between the conscious and the unconscious, but in truth, there is no such difference here. You can't be saying that it was built accidentally, surely. It was built for a purpose, but an unconscious purpose. It was grown to move towards its own light. It was given direction, a clear Verdammt. I cannot explain as I wish if only you understood Deutsch. Nevertheless, it is interesting. But maybe not useful right now. I know you have a job to do and guidelines. I, of all people, can respect that. I will give you more useful words. The old man gave me opinion, histories, and stories of his time within Venice. All of it was pertinent and certainly good print, but nothing that he said rang as true as that first exchange. That had been his truth, and the fact of it unsettled me considerably. After an hour, I decided that I had everything I needed, which was a very solid starting point for my piece. Before I left, whoever fixed me with a stare. I should warn you, many Venetians will not be as forthcoming with their opinions as I. As outsiders, we can never hope to fully understand this dark and beautiful place. Be careful. Whew. Guy's spooky. Guy's spooky. Spooky vibes on that guy. Oh no! Bullies! Witch! Little rat! Murderer! Yeah, I'm gonna intervene in this bullying. Be off with you. Leave her alone. Keep away, or you'll get the plague from her. She's a witch, a dirty little witch. She killed her own mother when she was born. The Baba will come and take you away. Wow, the ambiguity of the pixel art in this moment is really, really a weird, hard to determine what happened there. The Baba, what did he mean? You all right? What's your name? All right. Bye, kid. After staring at me with her chestnut eyes, she disappears into the shadows. It sounded like a bite. It sounded like she bit him on the face. I'd arranged to meet Don Vincenzio Conti, priest and expert on local history, at the Piazza San Marco. That should be my first destination. You got it. What are the other options? Notaro? Train station? All right. Maybe a scratch. Maybe a scratch. Maybe bit the nose. The buildings that surrounded me were certainly wrought with an enviable craftsmanship, although the locals seemed blissfully ignorant of the city's majesty as they walked past, heads down, contained within their own lives. It was as if the crenellations, arches, and statues were totems to a god that had faded from consciousness. Couples walked hand in hand or gathered in restaurants dining together on the feast of St. Valentine. All I had was a letter. I put the thought to the back of my mind and concentrated on the present and the priest sitting before me. I was in a fascinating city and there was a story to write. All other matters could wait. Thank you for meeting with me, Don Vincenzo. Yes. Love these close-up pixel artwork. Your Italian is very good. What a lovely surprise. Well, I would hope so after my years in Florence. I must admit, I was surprised that I was given the contact details for a priest. But what is religious knowledge but simply a knowledge of the past? If you are worried about me seeing the past through a particular lens, then perhaps that will be so. But if that circumstance is known, then you can take what you need from me and discard the rest? A rather mercenary notion. Isn't journalism a mercenary profession? Huh, I suppose it is. I don't know, is he? I don't know. So what can I help you with? Honestly, my reason for contacting you was originally more to do with your opinion of the future, and perhaps we will get to this in time. But having been exposed to certain sights, certain opinions, I think that maybe I should look to past somewhat in order to make sense of what could or will be. An astute observation. Was there any particular era that you were interested in? Yeah, journalism can be exploitative. I don't know if I would call it a mercenary profession, though. Have you heard of a babao? Of course, it is a fairy story, a creature used to scare children. How is it described? He is also called L'Uomo Nero, the black man, a tall man with a heavy black coat and hat. Okay, I see that they're probably trying to draw attention to the Bauta, but there's some choices here in the terminology. The famous Bauta, the costume, the face is based on this. Wow, that's really cutting my edge of enjoyment of the Bauta. Parents still knock on tables, pretending that he is... Yeah, there he is. There he is. Saying that he is on the door, searching for disobedient children. Yeah. Yeah, sure, ED. I think this is probably in reference to his clothing, and not anything else, but it's... You just don't. You just don't have to... You don't have to include all the information. There are also nursery rhymes about him taking children away for a year, but I should say, not to harm or eat them, Don Vincenzo, but rather to take them to a curious, unknown, terrifying location. No, please, Senora Maynard? What will you eat? Uh-oh. No, I'm rude. I do not mean to say it like that. I mean to say, sir, would you like to order dinner? The kitchen's about to close. I stare at the waiter. The square was empty. I am practicing my English. I heard you speak to yourself. How long have I been here? Yeah, Monique. Monique says man in black would have been enough. Yeah, I appreciate they went for a literal translation, but... I started around an hour ago and you were here. No one else? No? Should there be? Are you waiting for someone? No. Are you all right, sir? I have to go. Damn. The sound of the water lapping at the stonework made my head swim. What had been an interesting opportunity was quickly unraveling. My vision of the masked man at the piazza pointed to my condition worsening, but what if it wasn't? One thing was certain, there was far more than met the eye within the city. It's one thing's for certain, Venice spooky. There were ripples beneath the surface of Venice. Venice spooky. Mamma mia. I love this pixel Venice. This is very, very pleasing. Oh no! Rough, Njord. Rough. The night had passed uneventfully, and I felt rested enough despite the oddities of the previous day. Perhaps all I needed was a proper night's sleep. It would be good to have breakfast with my host again before heading out. Senora, how was your day yesterday? I returned late, so I didn't want to disturb you, but I'm keen to know how it went. It was an interesting day. I think I need my wits about me to get the most out of my time here. Ha! That you do. So what is your plan for today? Well, I'm hoping to catch up with my old friend Enzo Rossi if I can find him. He's a historian. Forgive me. He's a historian who may have some insights into the city. I see. Is he Venetian? Well, he lives in the city, I believe. This is not the same. History, family ties, you know. I see. And following this, I think I'm going to visit Grassi Palace to speak to a gentleman named Dante Decina. He agreed to speak to me when I sent an inquiry last week. Decina, I know of him, I think. Really? What can you tell me about him? Just be careful with him, Mr. Maynard. He is not as foolish as he seems. People seldom are. Anyway, this is a good plan. I hope you have a successful day. Feel free to take any food with you for the day ahead. It wouldn't do to go hungry. Thank you, very kind. And what are your plans for the day? Nothing so exciting. I'm simply meeting some family. It is important to stay connected, don't you think? I could feel the letter within my jacket pocket pressing against my heart. I suppose so. I will take my leave. Please, continue eating until you are satisfied. I will tidy things up upon my return. Very good. Very kind. Thank you, Arduino. Have a blessed day, Senora Maynard. Oh, hanging pheasant. Oh, is this really close to the screen? If not, that's a fucking massive pheasant. I couldn't reach it. I wasn't sure I wanted to either. Pots and pans. Too heavy to carry around, and I had no need for them. Nothing amongst the groceries I needed. No need to use the stove. I wasn't a very good cook. I appreciate that the game established the iconography of what a candle is, and then is just kind of... It's got to be in the foreground. That's my only read on how that could possibly be existing. Exit? Ooh, larder. No need to rummage around. Okay, that's fine. I'm curious if there's anybody in these other... I have to assume if there were other people here, they would have told us. So let's get out of here. I need to meet... I had to meet somebody. Who did I... Alright, talk to Weber. Decina? That's who I'm supposed to meet today? The 15th? Yes, due to visit him today. Oh, it's nice. These have updated. Alright, unnerving hallucinations when I recovered, gone. Are hallucinations typically a part of narcolepsy? I simply don't know. I had no wish to put my hand in the slimy waters that surrounded the statue. No, 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 no. I actually... Oh, no, no. Nowhere near strong enough to push the building upright. That's a very funny interpretation of what my click meant. Is there anything over here? No. To the city! Am I out of tea? It's tragic. It's one of the worst things to be. Ooh! Too early to get a little crunko? Let's go... Well, we've got an appointment at Palazzo Grassi. The Mayo Clinic lists hallucination as a symptoms. Oh, okay, so they can be. Okay, like sleep paralysis without the paralysis. Fascinating. Okay. You there, urchin. Watch yourself. You're in front of the Grassi Palace, not your own hovel. I'm just playing, sir. Well, play somewhere else. You don't own the streets. Asshole. It's really funny to see somebody defiantly throwing a ball. Hey kid, what's up? Hello there. Signora, you sound strange. I'm British, but I like to think I don't have much of an accent when I speak Italian. Still sounds strange to me. Do you know anything about Signora Dante? No, I'll just go through. What are you doing? I'm playing, dummy. You're too old to understand. Maybe so, maybe so. Have you been out here long? Since dawn. Signore, it's hard to find space in Venezia, but there's a lot in front of the Grasso Palazzo. There is other space. Go find it. No! Do you know anything about Signore Dante de Sina? He dresses like a king. I think he may be one. Well, he's not a king. Oh, he's kind to me. He gives me sweets from time to time. I like sweets. Do you like sweets? Of course. Who doesn't? He doesn't. That grumpy old man. Old? You're old! You're old and withered! I think there's a mystery. Not a werewolf, but I can't know that for certain. Good day. You speak English? Quite well, sir. How did you know I was English? I'm very observant, sir. I'm here to see Signora Dante de Sina. My name is James Maynard. Signora de Sina is not to be disturbed. He invited me. On this day? At this time? On this day, yes, we didn't agree to a time. Well, it is not convenient. For him or you? You have much time to consider this whilst on the street. I need to find a way past the doorman. Okay. I mean, I've got a cane. No need to give him the walking stick. You misinterpreted what I need to do. I think probably what I need to do is romance him. Buongiorno, signore. Daddy would be interested in a rose. Well, you know, let me give it to him and see. You know? Like, let me give it to him and see. Can I get you to distract that guy from me? Why? Because I need to get inside. Like a burglar? No, no, I'm expected. By who? Signora de Sina. Oh, so you wanted me to make the man angry? Not angry. Give me a treat and then I will. What kind of treat? Something sweet. Would you like to eat this rose? No need to give him a rose. Okay. Feels like I should... Wow, there's a dagger in that. Okay. Feels like I should just be able to buy candy. But let's see if we can find Enzo. Enzo Rossi has been a close friend during my time in Florence. There's always been many wine-soaked nights where he had told me of the history of the city and of Italy in general. His enthusiasm for the country and its customs have been second to none, and he tended to move every few years to a new locale to gain a deeper first-hand understanding of local customs. I lost track of him after he moved to Venice to do just that, and that was the last address he had forwarded me, where he stopped replying to my letters. Uh-oh. Planks are nailed on. I wouldn't be able to get one off by hand. A poster of Mussolini that had been daubed with red paint. Oh, nope. You there, local men. Excuse me, may I ask you something? If it is quick, signore, this game is just getting interesting. Do you know the owner of this house? A fool, a lunatic. Leave him be. How dare you? I know this man, he's a good friend of mine. You asked me, I told you what I knew. He never leaves his house, cowering in his own filth. What else would you call a man like that? In need of help? Kindness is not always rewarded, signore. It doesn't always have to be! Yeah, it is crowbar time. Should I make a crowbar time graphic? Ooh, what if we had a point-and-click bingo card? And it had some of the iconic, so it has like matches/lighter, crowbar, screwdriver, hammer. I guess there's not a lot of hammers. There could be more hammers. What are you playing? Scopa! The oldest Italian game. Well, maybe. This game has been played in Italian taverns since at least the 15th century. Have you played? No, but I've seen it played in Florence. I struggled with the rules, to be honest. They could not be simpler. The objective is to sweep all the cards, hence Scopa the broom. You capture the valuable cards by matching them to cards in your hand. A Neapolitan deck of 40 cards is traditionally used, but you can also use a standard card deck if you remove the 8s, 9s, and 10s. Would you like to be dealt in? There is money on the table. There would no doubt take far more from me given the chance. Not today, thank you. Maybe later. Crowbar time t-shirt. If we get bingo, we get to play more point and click. That's true. Oh. Enzo, leave me alone. It's your friend James Maynard. Enzo, please let me in. No, you can't trick me. Devils, demons. He was replying in English, yet still didn't trust that it was me. What had happened to him? God will curse you for your actions. God loves me. Bless me. Bless me. Enzo, it really is me. What the fuck, dude? Silence. Something was very wrong here. I had to find another way in. Somehow I feel like this isn't gonna get me. Isn't gonna get me any candy. Hey, tall man. Signore, you need something? Seems like a quiet part of town. Yes? Peace can be hard to find. Here, I can hear the waters. But there are no waves in a lagoon. There are small waves, Signora, ones created by boats, by people, and many other living things. Listen and you will hear, I promise you. Do you know the man who lives here? Not personally, but I've heard things, such as, he speaks in riddles and is touched by madness. Best to avoid him, Signore. You on your break? What business is that of yours? I was making conversation. Didn't mean nothing by it. I am where I need to be, Signore. Honestly, that's a totally fair response. Be well, Signore. Oh, wasn't getting across until I managed to fix the bridge. Damn. Hey, how do I fix the bridge? Okay. See, if I could get these boards off, I could use them to fix the bridge. Can I somehow use the walking stick for this? No, that won't work. Maybe the dustpan? No? Okay. Alright, back to the city. My guess is we're gonna have to pry off those boards to rebuild the road. Let's see what's up in the piazza. Palazzo Ducale. Hey, it's that waiter from yesterday. Good day. Ah, the Englishman. I was wondering if I'd ask you a few questions. I'm a journalist. I'll gladly buy a meal in exchange. Unless the owner has any objections? I am the owner. I just prefer to work for a living. It is the Venetian way. I have a few minutes. Tell Tell me about the road bridge. What are your first thoughts on the matter? First thoughts? Your initial reaction when you think of the bridge. Your gut feeling. I am not happy. Can you elaborate? We have no need for roads. We can get everything we need with the boats. I understand. I myself am thoroughly enjoying the freedom from automobiles. Tradition is important. We have the gondolas and they are enough for us. But you are Italians. We are Venetians. A century ago, we were our own state, even if it was under the rule of Austria. That was the way it should have remained. Can you see any benefits for the city? Benefits? The city will be crawling with termites, dragging it down into the mud. I like things the way they are, the way they were. This city should never have built the railway. Venice is unique, the jewel of the Adriatic. Why latch it to those heathens on the mainland? Heathens? Surely the majority of Italy is Catholic, same as the Venetians. Of course, it is as you say. Sus. Sussy. How do you feel about Mussolini? I must choose my words carefully, I think. Indeed. I respect his opinions on the history of Italy, but I think he misunderstands Venice. He wants everything to change and calls this progress. I see it as decline, a loss. What do you think will be lost? If you excuse me, I need to clean the tables. If we can conclude this soon. Thank you. You're welcome. Perhaps you will buy a coffee next time. Yeah, hey, you said you were gonna buy a fucking meal. Column of the Lion. Oh, I can't inspect the masonry? Let's look at the palazzo. Oh, I can't go to the museum? Not fond of heights. Do not wish to make the journey to the top. Hey, do you have a crowbar? Okay. Maybe if we go back to... Maybe there's something in the residence. Is there anything else in the umbrella? Oh, okay. Ooh, wait, maybe this is... Can I interact with this? No, okay. Oh, a platter of frittole? Fucking yeah! I know a child that would love this. Delicious looking pastries. Alright. We got a plan. We're gonna feed a wayward child. Here you go, little boy. Maybe the boy could help me get past the doorman. I decided to offer the child one of the frittole. Here you go, kid. Do you be able to distract the doorman? Uh-huh. Wow, holy shit, dude. Blast that child. Dante will have my hide if I don't fix this. Damn, kid. Oh. Damn. Escalation. Won't you have a drink, Mr. Maynard? No, thank you, Signora Decina. Alcohol has a curious effect on me. I believe that is the idea. And you don't mind if we speak in English? I do love to test my knowledge. Of course, your English is excellent, by the way. I would hope so, given how much my parents paid for my tuition. Let me apologize again for the manner of my employee. He is needlessly gruff. That's quite all right. I'm here now. Yes, you are. So... what do you want to discuss with me? I believe it was something about the road bridge, the Ponte Littorio. Yes, although I may move to other topics if that's acceptable. But of course! What about the bridge? Progress, my man. Progress, progress, progress. It is a very good thing, and its opening cannot come soon enough. Interesting. There are not many that seem to share your view. Then you are talking to the wrong people. Very very blunt. The argument that many have is that having the road bridge dismisses the heritage of Venetians, the rich history of the city. No, not at all. I follow Mussolini in his thought. To be the best nation we can be, we must be traditionalist and at the same time modern. We must, as a people, look to our shared past as Italians and also to the future, to a modernized Italy. Do you consider yourself Venetian or Italian? Both, of course. A very interesting question, Maynard. What made you come up with that one? I have met some that see their Venetian heritage as the driving force of their identity. Simply wondered if that was a widespread opinion. Well, Venice certainly has a history to be proud of. They used to be a powerful republic and influenced the culture of Dalmatia. This is why we consider it part of Great Italy. The Italians that live there deserve it. But anyway, it is Italian heritage that is the most vital part of me. I'm an Italian citizen first and foremost. Besides, my family have only lived in the city since the 1860s. So you a fash? You a fascie? You bootlicker? Of course! We're a proud fascist country that continues to grow in power. I'm sure you must admire our accomplishments and what we stand for. Such as, have you heard of the corporatist economic system? Only in the broad sense, maybe you could enlighten me. Il Duce proudly states that the economy must involve employer and employee syndicates being linked together in corporative associations. In this way, they can collectively represent the nation's economic producers and work alongside the state to set national economic policy. Quite an interesting idea. Interesting, it's inspirational. Il Duce is also prepared to stand up for our nation's women, the reproducers of the nation. There's no need for women to work, especially as a prostitute. Prostitution is a plague on a nation. Women must be revered and protected. Fuck off. You mentioned jobs. What if a woman wishes to work? Ha ha! You're joking, of course. Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! Oh, Mechtel, your little raccoon guy got split. What would you say the core principle of fascism that interests you? You fucking rich fuck. I would defer to the words of El Duce himself. The fascist accepts and loves life. He rejects and despises suicide as cowardly. Life as he understands it means duty, elevation, conquest. Life must be lofty and full. It must be lived for oneself, but above all, for the others, both nearby and far off, present and future. Inspirational. Alright, I've heard enough of your bullshit. That was, hey, can I tell you? That was kind of a lot of Mussolini content. Mr. Maynard, before you leave, I would like to make a request. Certainly, what do you need? I think that Mussolini content was supposed to be historical. Like, clearly a lot of research and history has gone into the creation of this. There was a lot of Mussolini stuff. Not as much pushback as one would hope for maybe a journalist or a game. This city is a jewel of the Italian crown. However, even here, or perhaps here more than most for whatever reason, there seems to be an undercurrent of socialists, communists, and Bolsheviks in the water. How can you be so sure? The secrecy, the stubbornness, surely you've seen it. People don't like me, so they're all commies. I don't know, maybe. They hide themselves well, but perhaps if an outsider were to discuss their own beliefs, maybe some would let their masks slip and show their true colors. Are you saying you want me to spy? Such an ugly word. No, I want you to support the law of the country, that's all. What do you say? I must remain neutral in this matter, I'm afraid. Very well, I think we're finished here, are we not? Yeah, we're finished here. I visited Dante, and for now I couldn't meet with Enzio. Hopefully I would find a way tomorrow. I could either continue to explore the city or else find a cafe and relax until the evening. When the watch symbol appears in the bottom left of the map, it appears that James has completed his main goals for the day. However, there may be optional conversations to have. Liz, that's true, but this is a fictional representation that has come out in 2025. So even if this is the thing is like, I think it's trying to be historical and historically accurate and represent that in a respectful, accurate way, but it is still a piece of art being made in 2025. And so I'm curious to see how the game continues to balance those aspects. Because it doesn't seem accidental that this game is talking a lot about fascism. When the watch symbol appears at the bottom left of the map, when you're happy you're finished, you can click the watch to advance time. Can I explore? If I wanted to find a cafe, maybe it's here? I mean, we're still so early in the game. Let me see if there's a how long to beat for this game. That we're still so early in the game that obviously could change. This game is a very small indie game, so it's a chance that there isn't. Yeah, there is no context on it yet. That's a shame. My guess is it's not going to be a hugely long game, though, just because it's kind of an little indie game. That I am enjoying. It's scratching all of the itches that one would want from a little indie pixel horror game. I can explore now. Let me look at the column. Aww. I was told I could explore. Maybe I already did explore. I guess I kind of explored instead of finding solutions. Is the door fixed? Or the window fixed? Can I just let myself back in? Oh, okay. That's fine. Alright. I think we can conclude the day. When I arrived back at Arduino's residence, I saw a young woman stepping out of the front door with a long coat drawn up tight around her slender frame. Have I gotten the new Duck Detective? I haven't, Boo-Ray. I should... Ooh. A little touch of gray in her hair. Little girl, do you know that woman? That's Isabella. She lives here? Uh-huh. Do you live here too? The little girl just stared at me. I decide to hurry after Isabella to introduce myself and hopefully set up an interview for the morning. I leisurely hurry after. Signora? Ah! Leave me alone. Signora, I didn't mean to startle you. Hey, you! The stranger was quite thin, but much taller than I, and his wide shoulders gave him a formidable appearance. His face was long, but not drawn, with a strong jawline and distinctive Roman nose. His hair was a wild brown mess over his long skull. Get away from her! What do you think you're doing? I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask her something. What? What do you want? Why would she want anything from you? Roberto, calm down. Wow, I know him. He's the man I've been telling you about, my guest from abroad. This went south so quickly. Mr. Maynard, this is my son Roberto. He lives in the apartamento above me. I was going to introduce you tomorrow, but, well, here we are. I'm sorry, I must have scared her. I wasn't thinking. Isabella, I'm a reporter. I only wanted to ask you a few questions. We can do it another day if you're interested. I'm sorry. Bella is a young woman out by herself. She was screaming loud enough to wake the dead. What would you have done? I suppose the explanation was a peace offering of sorts. I see. What would you have done? I'll be fine, Roberto, thank you. It's a bad business all around. You shouldn't have scared Bella like that, Mr. Maynard. I want to look at this spooky painting. How are you, little one? I'm fine. He's not so terrifying now. Good. I think you were due at the cafe, yes? Yes, of course. Englishman, you're a reporter for a newspaper? The Illustrated London News, yes. I have a few minutes while I walk to work. You can ask me some questions if you can keep up. Ciao. I wasn't going to hurt them. It's so quiet. Strange considering how full of life how full the city is of life. I suppose I'm from Mestre, so I'm used to the quiet. Nothing happens in Mestre. She smiles, showing a hint of dimples in her cheeks. So, what did you want to ask me about, Signora Maynard? May I have your full name for the article? Isabella Croce. Thank you. I only have one question, really. The road bridge. Are you for or against it? For, I suppose. Really? Can I ask why? I don't know. Some things just seem like a good idea. Trying to see if this is some sort of birthmark or just an interesting pixel. Yeah, Geo's I'm with you. It looks like a little moon, right? A good idea. In the sense of progress, of opportunities, you're aware of the predicted increase in sightseers. That doesn't bother me. The city is already crowded enough, and I don't know. Some things just need to change. What things? Menace for the Venetians, traditions, customs, nonsense. Have you noticed the dolls? The dolls? Look, here. Are we gonna get some... I hope we get a close-up of these dolls. What are they? Are they a tradition? I honestly have no idea. I see them everywhere, but there's obviously some reason for them. But outsiders aren't privy to such knowledge. I've asked a few people, but they just tell me it's none of my business. Let them have their silly little stories. I noticed a small birthmark on the nape of her neck in the shape of a crescent moon. Found myself staring. Isabella possessed a charm and easy manner that seemed to draw extra heartbeats from my chest. Dude. Anyway, come on, we're almost there. Dude, simmer. There was more than simple beauty there. It was a sense that Isabella was looking to embrace life. For a man such as me, who found many things to be uncontrollable despite my best wishes, it was an enviable quality. The thought of Charlotte began to bleed into the back of my consciousness, but I managed to force her back into the shadows. After all, she had rejected me. I owe her nothing. You said you're considered an outsider, but you're from Mestre, though, aren't you? That's barely 5 miles away. It's far enough in their eyes. The lagoon is their border, and being born here is obviously the only way of belonging. To be honest, I haven't tried that hard. Perhaps in time they'll warm to me. Arduino has, and Roberto. A large building sat across the canal from us. It appeared to be a church at first glance, but with certain obvious differences. 2 square towers stood on either side of the wide frontage that housed a large stained glass window depicting a large triangle over a curved line. This is my work, so we'll have to leave the questions for now. This building? Arduino said you work at a cafe. He can say what he wants. It's a bit like a cafe in some ways. Meals are served, food is eaten. I don't suppose I'm allowed to have a look. Venetians only, I'm afraid. If I didn't work there, I wouldn't be allowed in either. Well, then I'll head back, I suppose. If I can find my way, that is. Just find the Grand Canal and follow it back. You'll be fine. She smiled again, though it was just fleeting. Good night, Isabella. Oh, it could be a brothel. I don't enjoy it. What do you mean? Bella, you're late. We'll talk later. Yeah, okay, it might be. Isabella. Ugh. Had I fall asleep standing up? Where was I? Weren't there some dolls there before? Ooh. That was not the close-up of the dolls I was hoping for, if I'm honest. Yeah, that reads as sex work to me. But it could also be, I don't know, it could be like a soup kitchen or something. I was in bed. Fleeting memories of streets and faces danced past. I need to ground myself. Why was I here? There was a woman. Isabella, yes. I could use her last name if I could remember what it was. Oh, good. Croce. Oh, it flashed the mask for a moment. Croce, yes, that was it. It meant cross. I like that. I think that's a fun little, like, gameplay addition to have. Croce, cross, that combined with Isabella, which meant devoted to God. It's a very holy name. I hope this gave her protection in her work. Finally, I could rest. Ooh, was that a doll under the bed? Looked like a doll under the bed, huh? Y'all see that? Y'all see this shit? Dawn was ushering in a wave of rain, running off the rooftops and spilling down the canals. My thoughts went to Isabella and the curious building she worked at. Was it really a cafe? Or could its true purpose be something else entirely? Could it be one of the dens of socialism that Dante de Sena had spoken of? Fortunately, I still had no memory of how I had returned home. I had long ago given up trying to make sense of my nighttime experiences, but even compared to my worst nights, the last few days have been truly shocking. I felt my mind was coming apart at the seams. Maybe I could have a day off. Yes, a moment to take stock, gather Come in. I'm sorry to bother you, but I have a letter for you delivered this morning. Oh, hell yeah. Love getting mail. Love getting inventory items. I like this rain sound. I recognize the handwriting. It was from Don Vincenzio, inviting me to visit him at San Sebastiano Church to continue the interview that was cut short by my episode. Made a mental note to add it to my schedule for the day. For you, I think. Senor Maynard, I wanted to apologize for my behavior yesterday. I reacted poorly. Roberto was akin to a soldier in stature rather than a painter, so it was strange to see the man so nervous. That's quite all right. You were obviously just trying to protect Isabella. Yes, of course, as anyone else would for a person in trouble. Oh. I was wondering if you would join me for breakfast. You could ask me some questions if you wish, or simply eat. Certain, I'd welcome the chance. Next floor up. Please, call me James. All right. I have some business to attend to. Please, if you need anything for today, feel free to visit my kitchen. Have a good day, Mr. Maynard. It is raining in the game. For heading out for the today, I decided to check the address of the church in Don Vincenzio's letter. No, this letter was, I long for the day you seize the day to embrace adventure. Oh no, I grabbed the wrong letter. Oh. Classic inventory trap. Tell me again of Florence, James. Really? I've spoken of it so many times. And I'll ask it for you many more times, please. Very well. It's a city of beauty, of art, 700 years of the best of the Renaissance, live in the stonework of the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, the Church of Santa Croce, Palazzo Vecchio, Uffizi Gallery, and the Palazzo Pitti. I used to sit in the Palazzo Michelangelo long into the evening, staring at the terracotta roofs, the Duomo di Firenze. The city houses the works of great masters such as Giotto, Brunelleschi, Botticelli, and Michelangelo. A shame I will never see it again, but that is life. Is it? Why must it be so? We barely left London last year, and now you rarely even leave the grounds. Life is complicated. We're no longer children. We are not yet 30, James. We could go anywhere, be anyone we want to be. It's not so simple. What would we do for money? We could get by. We could both work. We don't need this luxury if we're trapped. Our life is not over. I never said it was. Don't twist my words. You need to leave this house, your parents. It's not healthy. What would you know of it? You told me yourself. Enough! Damn. But when will we ever travel, etc., etc.? Here I am, without you. You were too impatient. Whatever, dude. And I was a coward. I had to put that aside for now. I saw that Don Vincenzo's diocese was the Church of San Sebastian, in the west of the city. Ooh, more city unlocked. Let's have... Oh. I did not see the second half of that sentence. That's fine. It's open. Roberto's apartment was a scene of relative chaos compared to the tininess of Adrino's residence. Stacks of paintings, folded easels, sketchbooks, collection of paints clustered on a color-splattered shelf. Please forgive me. I need a much larger room. My home is my studio. It's hard on Rosa, too. She likes to play outside most days. It's quite all right. Oh, is that the child? James, I wanted to thank you for helping Rosa when she was being bullied. She told me that you tried to protect her. Children can be vicious. I'm glad I could help. I cast my eyes over Roberto's painting. I'd never been the most studious when it came to the subject of art. A fact that hastened my departure from studying the subject in Florence. I did, however, know what I liked and could appreciate the vivid colors and attention to detail that was present in each one of Roberto's landscapes. Your work is excellent. You're kind, but sadly I do not sell anywhere near enough of my paintings to live on. I must rely on relatives, both my own and Luciana's, which is distressing to say the least. Or disheartening. Luciana, she is Rosa's mother? Yes, I'm sure my father told you of my circumstances. Very little. He didn't go into detail. Don't worry. It's been several years since she passed. She is more of a story than a memory to Rosa, but she's still very much a part of our lives. Anyway, as I was saying, I may have to give it up altogether if things do not improve soon. Well, we've started on a depressing note.
How long were you two together? We met as teenagers. I was hurrying through the streets to set up a stall, trying to sell my first foolish attempts at painting. Luciana was coming to the other way, arms filled with groceries for her mother. The streets here are a maze at the best of times, dark and narrow. We collided, and that was that. We became inseparable, I suppose, until... Have you ever been in love, James? I think so. Sadly, Charlotte didn't feel the same way. Love is never simple. It is complex, painful, and at times joyous. Do not give up. She's the one who's given up. I don't think that she will entertain the notion of seeing me again, let alone anything more. If you give it time, I'm sure you will love again. Roberto has fixed me with a stare as if he were desperate for an answer to a question that had not been asked. I had the feeling that I knew what the question was. Suddenly, Roberto's reaction to Bella's scream made a lot more sense, as did the glances between the two of them on the previous night. Ooh. Have you ever loved again? Roberto glanced over at his daughter, lowering his voice. Yes, Isabella Croce, which I think you could tell. I mean, you're polite, but we don't hide it well. It's been 5 years since my Luciana passed, each day as gray as the last, and then suddenly Bella appeared. Suddenly I am alive again, and yet I can tell no one for fear of the community's reaction. My daughter's reaction is already more than I can bear. She cannot look Bella in the face. Really, increasingly, I mean, maybe this is because she's not a Venetian, but my guess is this is because she's a sex worker. I can understand your daughter's reaction, but surely the others will see that you need not remain alone for the rest of your days. Is remarrying so rare? My wife was Venetian and had a great many friends within the city. Bella, bless her, is from Mestre. She would not be accepted. Oh God, it really is just because she's not Venetian? That's really damning. Surely such a thing will pass with time. If it is kept secret, then will the reaction not be worse in the long run? Perhaps, or perhaps not. Ah, James, you do not know Venetians. There are things that are unique, things I wish I could leave behind. Can I trust you to keep my secrets? Yeah, we met 12 hours ago, for sure. I have no intention of souring the experience. You're a good man, James. You deserve happiness. He smiles warmly before his expression faded into a look of concern. You should leave Venice soon, I think. Why? Arduino said something similar. Well, he hinted that I should think twice about staying. Did he really? Well, he's right. It's not a good time to be in Venice. I myself am considering leaving. I have been for some time. What's stopping you? It's not so easy to simply leave. There are ties, obligations, and customs. Ah, I'm sorry. I've kept you long enough with my problems. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again. Okay, we'll talk later. I would like that. Anybody on the second floor? Come in! Ah, Signor Maynard, it's good to see you again. Hello, Isabella. I hope I'm not intruding. Not at all. Come in. Bella was wearing a velvet dress with a black lace choker, a rather elegant affair considering how sparsely decorated her room was. I noticed a large red book on her dresser. The title was A History of Venetian Life. Oh, she's studying up. She's studying up to pass the Venetian social exam. I wanted to see how you were. You seemed distressed at the end of our walk. She looked down and pursed her lips. It's just what it is. It can be hard to find work. I should be thankful. She tilted her head and looked into my eyes. Did you get home in good time? Did you find your way from the Melusina? Interesting. Melusina is a cavern of my lost memories yawned before me. Yes, I think so. Melusina is... Well, they're going to tell us. Melusina, that's the name of the building? Yes, I've been told it is based on a folktale. Interesting. Do you know the story? Yes, I was told as soon as I began to work there. Venetians are keen to share their history for the most part. There's a small stone heart in the Castello district embedded in the wall of the alleyway. It is called Sottopotego dei Pleti. It is commemorating two lovers. A smile briefly crossed her features. A young Venetian fisherman named Orio was pulling nets in one night when he heard a woman's voice call to him, "Please set me free, I beg of you." He saw a face of a beautiful woman emerge from the waters of the lagoon. He then saw the flick of a tail underwater and realized that she was a mermaid. She was called Melusina, and the two fell in love. Of course, their love would be impossible as it was, so she gave up the waters to live in his home with one condition. Orio had to stay away from the house every Saturday until they were married. At first, Oreo agreed to this. However, as the week passed, jealousy grew in his heart and he became suspicious. One Saturday, he stormed the house and found himself in front of a terrifying snake. The snake was Melusina, cursed to be transformed every week, with the only way to lift it being love and marriage. Thankfully, Oreo was able to control his fear, and they did eventually marry. Huh. That's a very different tale to most. Usually, that distrust would end in tragedy. Yeah, snake wife, snake wife, snake wife. How curious. It is a very different tale to most. Usually, the distrust would end the tragedy. The story is not yet finished, Mr. Maynard. Oh, please go on. They had 3 children and were very happy. However, one day, Melusina became very ill and suddenly died. Oreo was left alone with his 3 children. He thought he would struggle to look after his children, his work, and the household chores, but strangely, every day he returned home and found it clean and tidy. One day, after returning home because of the stormy weather, he found a snake in the kitchen. Fearing for his children, he killed it. From then on, the house was never again tidy or clean, and Oreo finally understood that the snake was what had remained of his love, Melusina, dead by his own hand. Ah! The red brick heart now marks the spot where their house used to stand, and it is said that if you and your beloved touch it, your love will last forever. Bittersweet, as these stories often are. She blinked her eyes and dabbed at them with her sleeve. Her velvet sleeve? Terrible! Life, I think, is far more gloomy than folk tales, wouldn't you say? Perhaps so. Damn. Damn. I really wanted Snipe to pull through. You wish a snake would come and clean your house? I think there's some stuff that a snake could clean pretty well. I think it could clean the floors very well. I think it could shimmy. I think it could shimmy up any dust and you know, hairs and dead snake, the insects and stuff. I think a snake could do a little Roomba action. I don't know if I think it could do a lot of other cleaning. Yeah, okay, yeah, walls, table legs, okay, yeah. I think it could wrap around table legs and chair legs. I think there's some stuff out of reach for a snake when it comes to cleaning. Although, okay, I would love to see a little snake hauling like a trash bag out to the corner. Oh, that's pretty cute, okay. May I borrow your book on Venetian life? The city is still a mystery to me. Of course, the writing is a little simplistic, but it does have some interesting notes on the city. I bought it when I first arrived in an attempt to help me fit in more. Were you successful? You fucking know I wasn't. Perhaps you will have more success. We'll see. No, not really any other books here. Snake Maid Simulator 2025! Oh my god. Okay, a little snake and a little, like one of those little frilly French maid hats. That's really cute though. This has the vibe of a Dusa from Hades fuck Mechtel. Yeah, you're right. This has the vibe of something that's a physics simulator. It's just about a snake trying and failing to clean. They want to be helpful. A rattlesnake, but with a duster instead of a rattle. Yes, yes. Goodbye and be well, Isabella. Nice. All right. Can I talk to the guy on the top anymore? Un moment. It's open. I don't have anything to say to this man. The book was fascinating, covering history and traditions of not just Venice, but the whole Veneto region. Even references to a Venetian dialect of Venexian, which some historians even argue was its own language. Its reference to Henry James describes the language in a 1909 book of essays, Italian Hours, as a delightful, garrulous language that helps them make Venetian life a long conversazione. This language, with its soft elisions, its odd transpositions, its kindly contempt for consonants and other disagreeables, has in it something peculiarly human and accommodating. Yeah? Do you know much about the woman who lives below you? Ah, yes, you have met her? A very intelligent young Fräulein. Do you know anything about her profession? She works in a restaurant, I think? Something of that kind. Why do you ask? I had the pleasure of company last night as she walked to work, but there is something in her manner. Never mind, I think my maid is playing tricks on me. I'm struggling to sleep. You should try a quick afternoon sleep, my friend. I swear by it. Perhaps. You know what this man needs? This man needs a spritzer. You're in Venice, you gotta have a little spritzer. A little spritzer, little snack, a little nap. You're good for the evening. The weather today is beastly. Beastly, an interesting choice of words. I enjoy the rain myself, especially as storms. It helps to remind me there are bigger forces at work. It's easy to forget sometimes. We can seem so small, so insignificant in this world. Is that so? But are you not a Christian, Herr Weber? Surely God has a purpose for everyone? Sometimes I wonder. I think I am alive more by luck than any kind of design. Good chat, old dude. Yeah, a little aperitivo as a treat. What you cooking? Good looking? Last night, in the alleyway. Unfortunate business. It's an interesting way to be introduced to your son. He's a strong-willed, impulsive man, but a good one, signore. No doubt. He wears his heart on his shirt, as you would say. Sleeve. The saying is he wears his heart on his sleeve. But the heart is in the chest! Ah, you English, you have such a strange way with words. You have any chores? Any errands? You're my guest, not a servant. You should enjoy your short time in Venice. Make the most of everything we have to offer you. And then get the fuck out. Now, if you'll excuse me, this stain will require a lot more work. Alright, to the city. Oh, I haven't saved in a minute. I don't know what the frequency of saves is here, so I should really be more mindful of that. Alright, to the city. Did I unlock any new... Yes! There is no need to climb the building. Yeah, that's... You know what? Honestly, that's totally fair. Signora, so good to see you. Don Vincenzo. I was concerned, Signora, after your last meeting. We were discussing folklore, and then you seemed distracted, and then... I fell asleep, I know. I have this condition, you see. Asleep? No, you did not fall asleep. What? No, your eyes were wide open, my boy. Well, that's never happened before. Yes, your eyes were wide, but you wouldn't respond to me. You were whispering. Whispering? What was I saying? It was too quiet for me to hear. I tried to speak to you, but you would not respond. After a while, I had to leave. I asked the waiter to look after you. I'm glad to see you are well. I'm happy to continue that interview, if that is what you wish. Yeah. Well, you certainly didn't mind asking the big questions. Perhaps it would be better if we narrowed it down a bit. Let's talk about the folklore. Have you heard of the Bombassin? He is a monstrous creature that is spoken of around the Venetian lagoon and Polesine region. Traditionally linked to the custom of Brusavicia and Carnival, the character has the appearance of an angry bull and represents the most ferocious and wild side of human nature. He is sometimes accompanied by parades by peasants who hold him in check with a chain, while the Bombasine scares young and old in its path. Sounds like maybe a large puppet that we would see, right? Its name derives from cotton wool, a word that in turn derives from the Greek word for cotton, a material used to build the large black mantle that wraps the Bombasine in. More recent tales connect him to the mythical character of King Hadrian and the gnomes of Polesine. How interesting. This city is steeped in interesting customs, both large and small. In Venice, both men and women greet each other with a handshake, but when introduced, the man bows his head and waits for the woman to extend her hand first. Close friends may greet each other with a hug or a kiss on both cheeks, as in the rest of Italy. There is a yearly festival called the Marriage of the Sea, which celebrates our maritime history and dates back to the Middle Ages. And then, of course, there is CARNIVAL! Name drop! Title drop, chat! Our priest stared into the middle distance for a moment. Do you miss it, Don Vincenzo? You cannot miss what has not died, signore. But it is banned. Okay, dude. These things have a way of clawing their way back, signore. I'm sure the tradition will live on. Ha 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 ha. Can we discuss religion? Yeah. Italy and the Vatican are, of course, the center of the papacy, as I'm sure you know. I'd be a poor journalist if I didn't at least know a little about the world. Yes, of course. Well, the Papal States were established by Pope Gregory in 1590 AD, but the Catholic Church, as it is today, didn't come to be until the Great Schism. The Great Schism? The excommunication of the Patriarch of Constantinople, Michael Cerularius. It created the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox faiths. Although to be truly accurate, Catholicism truly originated in 30 AD during the Roman occupation of Jewish Palestine. It is a continuation of the early Christian community established by Jesus' disciples. There's proof of Christianity arriving in Italy around the first century, but most likely introduced through traders, soldiers, and travelers, and a letter to the Romans by Paul the Apostle gives indication of Christians in Rome. Of course, it was another 3 centuries before the Roman gods were replaced with Christianity as the state religion, which was sometime in the late 4th century. And the Romans and pagan gods simply died out? Died? Well, nothing can truly die, my boy. Beliefs often continue in some form or another. Humanity has an instinct to seek out the truth, and there are many paths to enlightenment. But as a priest, surely other religions are a threat to be denied. Perhaps some would say so, but personally, I see them more as different faces of the same being. Very interesting. How long have you been based here? At Chiesa di Santa Sebastiano? As soon as I was ordained, applied for this parish, maybe 1890 or 91. I've always been fascinated by the beauty of this building, modest yet so rich with architectural beauty. The great Paolo Veronese painted the frescoes, ceiling canvases, and other pieces covering the life of San Sebastian, along with scenes of the Book of Esther and the life of Jesus. After he died, he was even entombed here. He knew he had been a part of something very special. What's your vibe? What's your vibe, my man? As a servant of God, I am of course more interested in traditions than change. The railway is enough. Road traffic would be distraction, a diluting effect on the charm of the city. As for El Duce, well, he and the church seem to have found an accord. He helped to oversee the Lateran Treaty, recognizing Vatican City as an independent state under the sovereignty of the Holy See. His government also agreed to give the church financial compensation for the loss of the Papal States. This cannot be ignored. I see, so you approve of him. I am compelled to, signore. An interesting choice of words. Any reticence? Venice will remain Venetian as it did before Mussolini and as it will after him. That is all that matters. Nice chat. Feel free to visit again. Touching the painting would have been very disrespectful. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true and fair. Game. That is so true and real and true and fair, game. Ooh. Ooh, a hammer, you say? Curious mark. Oh, it's the same mark we saw at Isabella's place of work. The strange mark was faded, but there were indentations. I was like, indentaciones? No, indentations from where it had originally been burned into the door. It's the same sigil I'd seen on the building where Bella worked. What could it mean? Perhaps I should ask Don Vincenzo. Yeah, I'll do that. Let me talk to this man, though. Signore? Are you renovating the church? Not at the moment. I'm on my break. What about it? The church looks to be well cared for. Of course, this church has been part of our history since Venice was a republic. We Venetians respect our roots. Sucks out here, right? I like the rain, to be honest. It cools the brow and feeds the lagoon. Are you not worried about becoming ill? Ah, my wife's meals keep me strong. Don't worry about me. Nice. Wife guy. Hey, you can't just take my hammer. Can I borrow it? Prove to me that you respect the city, then you can borrow it. How do I do that? Well, I can tell from your accent that you're not Venetian. You've seen the lions around the city, the lions of St. Mark. Hell yeah! They're often carved with a book, sometimes open, sometimes closed. Tell me why, and this will prove to me that you know our history. Then you can borrow the hammer. Simple. God, do I actually know this? I got a little pin of a Lion of St. Mark's, because it's a great design. It's just it's a winged lion, and he's got a book. Oh, but God, I absolutely learned the reason for this, why I was in Venice. I'm certain the game won't let me answer until I do something. This is gonna bother me. I absolutely remembered learned why it has a book. Let's talk to the dude. I am gonna destroy the town with the hammer though, Boo-Ray. I'm gonna fuck up a building that has some stuff on the window. I saw a sigil on the door. What's the deal? Really interesting. Perhaps it was some locals trying to honor God in their own ways. You aren't concerned? Isn't it desecrating the church? God should be more concerned with the strife in the world in Italy than to be bothered about a door, don't you think? Yeah, a good point, I suppose. Let the Venetians have their customs, Signora Maynard. It is their city, our city, after all. Alright. There's one of the... This is the Column of the Lion is a famous sculpture of St. Mark's Lion that is in this actual square. I'm hoping that I can ask somebody about it. No, I have to inspect the masonry. Hello, my dear. What would you like on this fine day? Fine. The weather's appalling. How else will the fruit grow or the rivers run? Never shun a rainy day, signore. So what can I help you with? Fresh food, dried food, tinned food, whatever your handsome heart wishes for. Oh, hey, what's your vibe? There's a prime location for a food stall. It is very good for business. You must have to pay quite an amount for the privilege, I imagine. Nonsense! Get what I want, you see. Very persuasive I am. By the way, your haircut is quite dashing, signore. The old woman grinned, batting her eyelashes as she polished an apple. Oh, thank you. Are you Italian? Your accent is a little exotic. I am English, signore. Fancy! I expect you'd like a cup of tea? Well, that is certainly a generalization, but yes, I would love a cup of tea. A pity the cafe is closed then. Let me see your wares. Not on the first date, my dear. I could, don't blush, signore. I like your pale complexion. Here's my most popular stock. Ooh. Do you think I can buy all of this? I mean, I could get our host some coffee. That would be a nice thing to do. I mean, olive oil is traditional Monique's. That's not a bad option. I'm just like, wow, Nightbot coming in with a night merch link, which is really funny. What's our per diem? We don't have money or understand the concept of money, so let's see if we can get everything. A packet of coffee would be good. Only the best for my teddy bear. Signore! Yeah, I would love some olive oil, too. Wow, she called me a little mouse? Wow, I love this lady. I'd like to buy some bread, I think. When was it baked? This morning, little sparrow. Incredible. Hey, I'm single. What's your vibe? Can I buy an apple, please? Certainly, my little puppy. Crazy. Delightful. I love her. Can I ask you some questions about Venice? I literally bought everything you have for sale, so it'd be cool. If you really wish to, but I may not be able to answer many. I'm from Tuscany, you see. I've only lived here for a handful of years. I see. Did you find the city welcoming? I suppose as welcoming as anywhere. When you run your own stall and move to a new location, there's always some resistance from the local stall holders, but I soon got past any difficulties. And how did you do that? Guess. Oh, by not caring. I thought she was going to be like, oh, by being a charming little devil. The answer is by not caring. She flicked the back of her fingers under her chin. I've seen this expression many times in Italy. Thank you for your time. Please, the pleasure is all mine. Well, maybe not just mine, signore. Yes, yes. Good day. Hell yeah. I got an apple. I got some bread. I gotta find... What? The oil was of low quality, but at least the price had been equally low. Packet of coffee was of modest size from an Italian company. The beans originating in the East Indies. Yeah, I can't believe this lady sells shitty olive oil. Honestly, shocking behavior. Let's see. Oh, we are over time. So, gonna save there. And we're just gonna have to figure out... We need to get the game to tell us specifically why the lion has a book. Because then I can use the hammer to pry up the boards on the window and use those boards to rebuild the bridge to get into the house to see my friend. That's the plan. I think we'll do that Sunday. Yeah, we'll probably do that Sunday. If I play for another hour, Brian will be on. I have other things to do, so unfortunately not. But we'll be back Sunday at 10 a.m. for, I think, more of this game. I'm into it. I'm looking forward to seeing more. Well, I'll see you all later. Have a good rest of your week and weekend. Bye.